Darkwood's powerful wings beat steadily as they climbed into the sky, leaving the copse of elms where they had found Crystal Song. Iris looked back, watching Sir Darius and his men shrink into the distance. She was trying to make sense of what she had seen. A man who bore the appearance of a wizard, wearing the Order's deep blue hat and silver-trimmed cloak, had pointed at them as they had descended, only for another man to pull him from his horse and throw him to the ground. She frowned, her brow furrowing. It had happened so quickly and so strangely, she could not grasp its meaning. Had there been a disagreement among Sir Darius's men? Or was it something more sinister?
Sir Darius has seen us,
Iris said to Darkwood as she looked forward.
There is a mage with him, along with a few soldiers, but something happened to the mage. I'm not sure. He was dragged from his horse and thrown to the ground.
Darkwood was silent for a moment, before replying.
Sir Darius must contend with the Aerie now.
Iris felt Crystal Song tremble against her.
She is in pain,
Iris said, turning her attention to the girl in her arms, though the fate of the mage left her with an uneasy feeling.
I must concentrate to help her.
As must I,
replied Darkwood.
We have a hard day's travel ahead. I must pace myself, or I will be spent before we arrive.
Iris closed her eyes, resting her hands gently on the girl's frail form as she settled into deep meditation. She attuned herself to Crystal Song's pain, feeling its ebb and flow like distant tides. Carefully, she channeled it through her own body, guiding it away but never holding on to it. She was only the conduit, the ground through which suffering passed before dissolving into the vast embrace of Mother Earth and Father Sky. Above the winds, Darkwood flew in silence, focusing on the rhythm of his wings and the strength of his muscles, pacing himself for the long journey. You are listening to The Sleeping Dragon, a Starfall Rest story, created by Benign Chaos. Discover more magic at starfallrest.com. Chapter 7. By early afternoon, they had reached the foothills of the Stormhorn Mountains, where the mighty Stormvein River, swollen with the rush of melting snow from the peaks, carved a sinuous path through the land. To the north, the mountains towered, majestic and wild, etched against the endless blue sky. To the south and west, the spruce and birch of the Silverreach Forest trailed away into the vast expanse of the plains of Titley-Moor. Stopping for respite, Darkwood, still in dragon form, took to the hunt, vanishing into the wilderness in pursuit of deer. While he hunted, Iris and Crystal Song shared the provisions Atterbury had packed. Iris ate slowly, exhaustion settling into her bones after hours of focused meditation. She had not held such deep concentration since the passing trial of her 20th birthday. Within the hour, they were airborne again. Iris watched as Darkwood soared into the Stormhorn Mountains, navigating the familiar passes of his homeland with ease. The rugged peaks and deep valleys stretched before them. Though the chill of winter still clung to the shadows, the warmth of the early afternoon sun carried the first hints of summer. Grateful for the fair weather, which made her task easier, Iris closed her eyes and returned her focus to Crystal Song, once more easing her pain. The sun was deep in the west, casting long shadows across the mountains and plunging the valleys into twilight, when Darkwood interrupted her concentration.
It is time, Iris. The Aerie is upon us.
Iris opened her eyes. The sky was ablaze with fire and water. Streaks of crimson and gold melted into the serene blue expanse, a breathtaking collision of day and night. Though exhaustion pressed into her muscles and mind, she kept her arms wrapped around Crystal Song, steadying the girl's fragile frame between her wings. The young ethereal barely stirred, lost in an exhausted sleep. Then Iris noticed they were no longer alone. 4 ethereal warriors soared alongside them, their golden armor catching the evening light. Long bows and quivers of arrows were strapped across their backs, secured between their enormous wings. They made no move to attack. Instead, they drew close, a silent escort for Darkwood's unexpected arrival and the precious child he carried on his back. As Darkwood soared through the narrow mountain pass, the Aerie came into view. Emerging from the peaks like a dream, sculpted from stone and sky. It was a fortress carved from the very bones of the Stormhorn Mountains. The waning light painted its walls and soaring turrets the glowing red of the setting sun, as their silhouettes blended seamlessly with the rugged landscape. Stately doorways and arched windows, hewn directly into the living rock of the mountainside, hinted at the grandeur hidden within the heart of the mountain. A single, well-guarded path wound its way through the pass to a fortified gate, but this was not the true entrance. That honor belonged to the grand platform, sitting high atop the crown of Lightborn, the tallest peak of the Aerie. From there, it overlooked the shimmering Silver Glen, its blue waters, fed by the mountain's melting snows. Only those with wings could reach this storied threshold. As they approached the grand platform, its marble tiles caught the last vestiges of sunlight, casting molten gold and deep copper reflections into the evening sky. There, waiting with keen eyes, stood Chrysola, mistress of the celestial cradle, her pink feathered wings ablaze with the fiery lights of the waning day. Beside her stood Morath, the Undying, the great black dragon of the Midnight Vale, currently in his human form. Darkwood had visited the Aerie many times as steward of Darkwood Valley, but never had Chrysola or Morath, both of whom he had met but rarely, awaited his arrival. He swooped down to the center of the platform, his escort gliding in perfect, graceful formation beside him. As soon as his talons touched stone, the ethereal warriors moved swiftly to his side, helping Iris ease Crystal Song down from his back. A moment later, Darkwood felt Iris slip down from his back onto the platform, and with the familiar pool of shifting magic, he took his human form once more. Crystal Song was awake, but she was crying. 4 weeks had passed since she had fled, since her governess, the woman she loved as a mother, whispered urgent goodbyes and pressed her into the night. For weeks, she had traveled alone, terrified and wounded, hiding by day and running by night. She had stolen food where she could, barely surviving the journey with her broken wing. And now, for the first time since she left her governess's side, she felt safe. The fear and pain of the journey came crashing in upon her, overwhelming her. She had never seen other ethereals, having lived her entire life, or at least the part of her life she could remember, confined within the luxurious walls of Siderius's estate, alone in a gilded cage. Now, being held in the arms of her sisters, the tears rolled down her cheeks, and she was unable to stop them. She broke into sobbing, her small frame shaking, her cries the only sound on the platform. Darkwood looked at Iris. She was crying too, though quietly, as she watched the young girl. Without a word, Darkwood stepped to Iris's side, wrapping a comforting arm around her. She silently wiped the tears away, trying to regain her composure. It had been a long, arduous day. Exhaustion was etched into her face, as well as Darkwood's own. Without thinking, she leaned into Darkwood, letting his strong body support her as the sun disappeared behind the mountain peaks.